Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Since everyone is already here, so let's get started. Let me explain the purpose of this meeting first. I have called this meeting because we want to discuss about internal control system for Ruby Sdn Bhd, which produce kitchen units from factory premises.
First of all, let me introduce our team members. First, Ms. Nur Atik Nabila binti Muhammad Zain as a chairperson, Ms. Siti Zulaikha binti Zamree as a managing director, Ms. Nur Natasya AINA binti ZAIBI as a secretary, Ms. Nur AFIFAH FARZANA binti MASRI as an auditor, and Ms. AIMI MAISARAH binti RAZALI as an auditor. For your information, internal controls are the instruments, rules, and methods carried out by an organization to guarantee the integrity of financial and bookkeeping data, advance responsibilities, and prevent fraud. The internal control structure of an organization consists of the strategies and systems set up to provide reasonable assurance that particular entity targets will be accomplished. There are two types of internal control, which is prevent control and detective control. So for prevent control, we are built to avoid errors or any irregularities from happening. For example, segregation of duties and safeguarding asset. Why? For detective control are designed to find or allocate errors after they are occurred. For example, management duties, identifying unexpected result or losses on production. So in our company, Ruby Sdn Bhd, we discuss about the acquisition of tangible non-current asset. The company employs only one buyer who report directly to the managing director.
So, are the duties for authorizing purchases, approval of invoice payments, and purchasing officers separated between two or more employees? So, Mrs. Chairperson, do you have any idea about this?
In our company, we did not separate two or more employees for the duties. We only employ one person to manage the entire area for authorizing purchasing. May I know, are there have segregation of duties to the employees in this company?
No, there isn't, because our company only employ one buyer for the task of acquisition for tangible non-current asset. So I think it is not good for our company to employ only one person to manage all of the entire task, because it can lead to fraud. So in the first meeting, the buyer and all the directors produce agreed list of acquisition, and all the attendees retain a copy of the agreed list of acquisition. Next, buyers are required to contact the potential suppliers to obtain the confirmation of availability and to get the lowest price for acquisition tangible non-current asset.
So, have employee job description including specific duties and reporting responsibility been clearly established to employees?
Yes, the reporting responsibility and specific duties have been clearly established to employees because the employees of the company do their work that have been assigned to them.
Our company also did formalize and approve the tangible non-current asset expenditure budget. Other than that, the buyer placed order ensuring it is budgeted.
Okay, I want to ask you, Manager Director, has the Board of Directors limit the value of purchasing transaction?
Yes, in our next meeting, second meeting I mean, our directors have been set the budgeted as for the acquisition tangible non-current asset and expected month of purchase. So there's a limit the value of purchasing task.
Is there sufficient communication between company's management and purchasing officer?
No, there are no sufficient communication between our company's management and purchasing officer because purchasing officer just make a decision to make a purchase without prior consultation with our management, so they can saving the cost by negotiation on budgeted costs. That's why there are no sufficient communication with our company management.
The buyer also placed order by way of letter instead of using simple email message.
Is there sufficient supervision and monitoring of acquisition tangible non-current asset operation?
No, because as we can see that the buyer placed order by way of letter, but normally we use the simple email message. So I think I need to I think it is inconvenient to use letter to purchase the order as the buyer should follow the procedures. It also can increase the risk of loss when the good received not in a good condition. So, are the procedures in acquisition of tangible non-current asset implemented properly?
Yes, the company followed the procedures in acquisition of intangible asset properly, but the buyer did not place the order with the supplier that they appointed in the previous meeting.
Okay, so next the managing director approved the copy of order documentation from the buyer, which is the documentation only include the calculation of bonus that the buyer entitled.
Does written document exist in the company in covering all significant transactions and activities?
In this situation, yes, written documentation do exist in our company. It is to covering all the significant transactions and activities in the company. The copy of acquisition of tangible non-current assets is retained by all attendees. May I ask the question? Are management and operating decisions made by one or a few individuals?
Not sure, because the decision made by one individual, which is managing director.
Um, does the purchase officer do the work in timely manner?
Yes, because the buyer do the work in timely manner because he can finish the job on time.
I see. But are the activities dealing with suppliers, managing director, and the documentation of calculation based on honesty and fairness?
No, because the buyer does not inform the managing director about the supplier. The buyer just show the document about budgeted.
Sorry for interrupt. Are there procedures in place to identify information needs and collect relevant data from reliable sources?
No, in our company did not have any procedure in placing to identify information, need and collect relevant data from reliable sources because we did not have the reliable sources since we just have the agreed list of acquisition while having the discussion about purchase with the buyer. Does managing director review the list of potential supplier and limit of value to determine if change need to be made?
In Ruby Sindian Berhad, no, our managing director did not review the list of potential suppliers and limits of value to determine if changes need to be made. She neglect the basic review. She neglect the basic review procedures of this company.
May I ask you again, Ms. Chairperson, are the acquisition of tangible non-current asset initiated and approved prior to the budgeted cost has been approved?
For my answer, the answer is yes, because the acquisition of tangible non-current asset initiated and approved prior to the budget cost has been approved. We held the meeting in October. The directors and the buyers meet to discuss the requirements of these tangible non-current assets.
But does the company's management do the physical inspection on the tangible non-current asset? Does anyone have any ideas about this?
Okay, I think no, because the company management is reviewing the document without the copy of budgeted. Thus, the responsibility and delegation of acquisition tangible non-current asset have been properly assigned and clearly understood by the buyer?
Not sure. We're not sure whether the buyer understood clearly about acquisition tangible non-current asset because after the director and buyer meet again to formalize and approve the tangible non-current asset expenditure budget, they made a decision to purchase it at the lower price.
Have the procedures been put in the company to detect any interrupts for any task?
I think no procedure in our company to detect any interruption for any task because in the meeting auditor with the buyer, they just discussed, in the meeting, director after with buyer, they just discuss about the budgeted and the detail of tangible, non-current asset without the procedure to detect the fraud in our company. Okay. I want to ask, does management monitor procedure to ensure that transactions are recorded correctly?
No, because the management monitor does not record the transaction correctly because our company cannot analyze and evaluate data properly.
So my next question is the management department require evidence for the acquisition activities for the control function? What about your answer, Managing Director?
The answer is no, because I only reviewed the copy of documentation given by the buyer based on the budgeted cost only. It can be there's incomplete and inaccurate of the information in the financial statement. So I think I need to take some more time to review the calculation and find the sources, the reliable sources and evidence for the acquisition of tangible non-current asset.
I think this is the last question for today's meeting. Does the information system provide management with necessary report on the employee's performance?
For this question, I'm not sure because in Ruby Senior Berhad not stated any necessary reports about employees' performance.
If that is the end of the question, so I think that's all for today's discussion. I hope that everyone get information in this meeting. Thank you everyone for your time. I declare the meeting closed. Thank you.